You're an idiot.
She yelled at a stranger at the airport, believing she would never see him again. But he's the Mafia boss, and he's not letting it slide. This story is hot and funny, and I know you're going to love every second of it.
Welcome to my library. I'm Lena, and our story is just beginning.
Chapter 1: The Airport Scandal.
What?
You're an expensive jerk.
Some days you wake up and the universe whispers a warning. Today wasn't one of those days. Today, the universe stayed silent while I walked straight into disaster wearing my least comfortable shoes and dragging a suitcase that had apparently decided to retire mid-journey. The international airport was chaos incarnate. Flight delays stacked like dominoes, lines stretching into eternity, and that special brand of collective misery that only air travel can inspire. My suitcase's wheel had chosen this exact moment to stage a rebellion, grinding and squeaking with each reluctant rotation, announcing my presence to everyone within a 50-foot radius. 3 hours delayed, 3, and the check-in line looked like an angry serpent made of exhausted, irritable humans who smelled of sweat and desperation. I yanked the suitcase forward. It resisted. I stumbled, of course, because my life was precisely this, a comedy of errors where I played both the protagonist and the punchline. Careful, a voice sounded behind me. Too deep, too smooth, too irritating. I turned to face a suit that probably cost more than a small country's GDP. The man inside it was worse. Tall, broad shoulders, dark hair styled in that perfectly messy way that only came with money and effort pretending to be effortless. Chiseled jaw, dark eyes that seemed to evaluate me with a mixture of amusement and something I couldn't quite decipher. He had a corner smile, the kind that said, "I know exactly the effect I have." I hated men like that. "Sorry," I muttered, trying to drag my rebellious suitcase aside. "Maybe if you weren't fighting with your luggage," he said, and there was an edge of sarcasm in that velvet voice that made me want to punch him. I took a deep breath. Not today. I didn't have the patience today. "Maybe if you weren't in my way." Technically, he tilted his head, that damned smile widening. "You're the one who stumbled in my direction." Something inside me snapped. It wasn't just the delay or the suitcase or the unbearable heat or the endless line. It was everything. It was the entire terrible month I'd had. It was my idiot boss. It was the overdue electricity bill. It was the fact that I was going to a conference I didn't want to attend just because nobody else would. "You know what?" I started, and my voice came out louder than intended. "I don't need sarcastic commentary from a pretentious stranger who's probably never stood in line in his life. You think you're better than everyone here just because you have a designer suit and probably fly first class while the rest of us cram into economy?" He blinked. Once, slowly, people around us started staring. I should stop, but my mouth had other ideas. "And you know what's worse?" I continued, gesturing with my hands in that way my mother always said made me look unhinged. "Men like you, who think they can make little jokes and expect us to find it charming, expect us to smile and go all gooey. Well, not today, buddy. I'm tired, sweaty, late, and absolutely out of patience for jerks in Italian suits." Silence. A heavy, embarrassing silence, the kind that makes your stomach twist. He kept looking at me, not with anger, not with shock, with amusement. His dark eyes gleamed with something dangerously close to genuine interest. "Italian?" he said, his voice too calm. "You have a good eye." I heard someone whisper nearby. A middle-aged woman stared open-mouthed at the man in front of me, then at me, as if I'd just spit in the Pope's face. "She has no idea who this man is," she whispered to her friend. I rolled my eyes. Of course, just another pathetic rich guy who expected people to bow at his feet just because he had money. "Great," I said, grabbing my suitcase with renewed force. "Then you already know I can recognize an expensive jerk when I see one." And I simply walked around him, or tried to, because of course my suitcase chose that exact moment to jam again, almost making me fall. I felt firm hands on my elbow steadying me, large hands, warm, that sent a strange wave down my spine. I looked up. He was too close enough for me to smell him. Something woody and expensive and masculine in a way that made my stomach do a weird thing. "Careful," he repeated, only this time the word came out different, lower, more intimate. I pulled away as if I'd been shocked. "I'm fine." Clearly. The irony in his voice made me clench my fists, but he was already walking away, hands in his tailored pants pockets, moving with that irritating confidence of someone who knows the world bends to his will. Before disappearing into the crowd, he looked back one last time, and that corner smile returned, accompanied by something in his eyes that made my heart race in a completely inconvenient way. It was a pleasure, little firecracker. And then he vanished. I stood there with my stupid suitcase in the middle of a chaotic airport, with people looking at me like I was crazy, and my heart beating at a rhythm I didn't want to admit. I shook my head. Idiot. He was just another rich idiot. So why couldn't I stop thinking about that smile? Why did part of me wish I'd asked his name? I sighed, returning to the line. Forget it, Ava. You'll never see that man again in your life. Spoiler, I was completely, absurdly, terribly wrong. Chapter 2. He's not just a stranger.
Oh no, it's him!
I made it home without further disasters, which felt like a personal victory. The conference had been exactly as boring as predicted. 3 days of corporate jargon and stale coffee. But at least I'd survived. And more importantly, I'd managed to completely forget about the airport incident, as I'd started calling it in my head. That infuriatingly attractive man with his expensive suit, and that smile that made me want to simultaneously slap him. And, well, I wasn't going to finish that thought. I threw my suitcase in the corner of my tiny apartment and collapsed on the couch. Tomorrow I'd return to the office, to my normal, predictable, safe life, where I definitely wouldn't run into arrogant strangers who smelled too good and looked at me like I was the most entertaining thing they'd seen all year. My phone buzzed. A text from my coworker, Sophie. Did you hear? The big boss is actually coming to the office tomorrow. Tomorrow. Nobody's ever seen him in person. I'm freaking out. I frowned. Our company was owned by some mysterious investor who apparently ran half the city's legitimate businesses from the shadows. We'd all joked about him being a vampire or a ghost or some kind of urban legend. Great. Another rich guy to avoid. I texted back. If only I knew. Cinematic cut. Renzo. Across the city, in an office that overlooked the glittering skyline, Renzo Lombardi stood by the floor-to-ceiling windows, a glass of whiskey in his hand. He should be reviewing the quarterly reports, should be planning the next acquisition, should be doing literally anything other than thinking about a woman who'd yelled at him in an airport 3 days ago. But here he was. You're smiling, his right-hand man, Marco, observed from the doorway. That's disturbing. Renzo didn't turn around. I met someone. You meet people every day. You usually threaten them. She threatened me. That got Marco's attention. Someone threatened you? Are they still breathing? Very much so. Renzo took a sip of his whiskey, the corner of his mouth lifting. She called me an expensive jerk, in Italian. Marco blinked. And you're smiling about it? Renzo finally turned, his dark eyes gleaming with something dangerous and amused. She had no idea who I was. No fear, no attempts to impress me. She was just furious, genuine, completely herself. So you're stalking her now? I prefer the term strategic interest. Renzo set down his glass. I had her identified within an hour of landing. Ava Miller works at one of our subsidiary companies, mid-level analyst, apparently very good at her job despite a tendency to trip over things. You can't be serious. I'm visiting the office tomorrow. You never visit the offices. You hate visiting the offices. Renzo's smile widened, taking on that predatory edge that made grown men nervous. I'm making an exception. In his world, Renzo Lombardi was many things. A businessman whose empire stretched through legitimate ventures and shadowy dealings. A man whose name was whispered in both boardrooms and back alleys. Someone who'd built an empire on control, strategy, and the ability to read people in seconds. But that woman at the airport? She'd been a complete mystery. Unfiltered. Explosive. Real. And he couldn't get her out of his head. This is going to end badly, Marco muttered. Probably, Renzo agreed, already planning exactly how he'd make his entrance. But it'll be entertaining. Back to Ava. Monday morning hit me like a truck. I was running late because my alarm didn't go off, which meant I'd skipped breakfast, which meant I was currently standing in the office kitchen, stress-eating a muffin while Sophie vibrated with anxiety next to me. He could be here any minute, Ava. Any minute. She grabbed my shoulders. We need to look professional, put together, not like we spent the weekend binge-watching reality TV in our pajamas. I'll have you know I was only in pajamas for most of the weekend, I said, brushing muffin crumbs off my blouse. I showered, eventually. This isn't funny. Do you know what this man controls? The rumors alone? Sophie, breathe. He's just a guy. A rich guy, sure, but still just a guy. I patted her arm. I'm sure he's some boring suit who'll walk through, nod at everyone, and leave. We probably won't even see him. Famous last words. The office had an weird energy all morning. People kept checking their hair and their computer screens. Someone had brought fancy cookies. Our manager, Patricia, looked like she might faint at any moment. I tried to focus on my work. Really, I did. But the spreadsheet in front of me might as well have been written in ancient Greek for all the sense it was making. Then the whispers started. He's here. Oh my God. He's actually here. Is that him? That's him? I glanced up from my desk just as the office seemed to collectively hold its breath. The glass doors to our floor opened, and several men in dark suits walked in. Security, obviously. The kind of security that screamed, "Don't even think about it." And then I saw him. Time didn't actually stop. That's a stupid romance novel thing that doesn't happen in real life. Except, apparently it does, because everything slowed down as I watched him walk through those doors. The airport man, Italian suit, Mr. Expensive jerk himself. Only now he looked even more intimidating in this environment. Commanding, powerful. The kind of presence that sucked all the oxygen out of a room just by existing in it. Our eyes met across the office. His steps faltered for half a second. Then that smile appeared. That damned corner smile that made my stomach flip and my brain short-circuit. Oh no. Oh no, 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 no. Ava? Sophie whispered next to me. Why does the boss look like he knows you? I need to go, I said, already standing up. What? You can't. But I was already moving. Panic mode activated. Fight or flight response. Definitely flight. I ducked behind a cubicle divider. Smooth, Ava. Very professional. Mrs. Miller? Patricia's voice called out. Where did Mrs. Miller go? I pressed myself flatter against the wall, like that would somehow make me invisible. Through the gap in the divider, I could see him talking to Patricia, but his eyes were scanning the office, looking for someone, looking for me. I army crawled to the next cubicle. Yes, literally, crawled across the office floor, in a pencil skirt, while my co-workers watched in confusion and horror. Is Ava okay? Someone whispered. I think she's having a breakdown. Someone else responded. I made it to the kitchen doorway and considered my options. I could hide in the supply closet, or maybe climb out a window. Did we have windows that opened? Why didn't I know this crucial information? Looking for something? I froze. That voice, right behind me. Slowly, like turning around might somehow make this not real, I pivoted to find him standing there, up close, in my office, looking down at me with barely contained amusement dancing in those dark eyes. My brain completely malfunctioned. Me, he agreed, that smile growing. I gestured vaguely at everything. You're him? Apparently. We stared at each other. The kitchen suddenly felt very small and very warm. Why was it so warm? The boss, I said stupidly. Technically, I prefer CEO or Renzo, though I believe you called me an expensive jerk last time we met. I wanted to die, just spontaneously combust right there in the office kitchen. I didn't know that I owned the company. He leaned against the counter, completely relaxed, while I felt like I might throw up. No, you definitely didn't, which was honestly the most refreshing conversation I've had in years. I yelled at you. Extensively. It was impressive. I called you. I couldn't even finish the sentence. Several creative names, yes. My favorite was Jerk in an Italian suit. His eyes sparkled with mischief. For the record, it was Armani. This couldn't be happening. This was a nightmare. I'd wake up any second now. I'm going to be fired, I said, more to myself than to him. Fired? He tilted his head, genuinely puzzled. Why would you be fired? Because I yelled at my boss in an airport. Technically, you yelled at a stranger in an airport. I only became your boss retroactively. Was he laughing at me? He was definitely laughing at me. This isn't funny, I said, but my voice came out weaker than intended. It's a little funny. He pushed off the counter, taking a step closer. You should have seen your face when you saw me. Pure terror. Then you tried to hide behind a plant. I did not. Ava, you literally crawled across the floor. My face felt like it was on fire. I was looking for something. Your dignity? You know what? I started, that familiar anger sparking, but he held up a hand. There it is, he said, sounding delighted. That fire. That's what I came here to see. I blinked. What? You're not fired, Ava. Actually, he glanced toward the door where his security team waited, then back at me. I came here specifically to see you again. My brain officially gave up trying to process this conversation. Why? Something shifted in his expression. The amusement was still there, but underneath it was something more intense, more focused. Because in my line of work, I meet a lot of people. Most of them want something from me. They smile when they're angry. They agree when they disagree. They're afraid. He took another step closer, and I had to tilt my head back to maintain eye contact. But you were just you. Angry, honest, completely unimpressed. Do you have any idea how rare that is? So you, what, tracked me down? I found out where you worked and decided to drop by. That's literally the definition of tracking someone down. That smile again. Semantics. We were standing too close now. Close enough that I could smell that same woody, expensive scent from the airport. Close enough to see the flecks of gold in his dark eyes. Close enough that my heart was doing acrobatics in my chest. This is insane, I whispered. Probably, he agreed. But I have a question for you, Ava Miller. What? His eyes held mine, intense and amused, and something else I couldn't quite name. Are you always this entertaining, or did I just catch you on a good day? And despite everything, the embarrassment, the confusion, the absolute insanity of this situation, I felt a laugh bubble up in my chest. You're impossible, I've been told. He extended his hand, formal now. Renzo Lombardi, pleasure to officially meet you. I stared at his hand, then at his face, then back at his hand. This was crazy. He was crazy. This whole situation was completely, utterly insane. I took his hand. Ava Miller. And for the record, I still think you're an expensive jerk. His grip was firm, warm, and he held on just a second longer than necessary. Chapter 3, The Game Begins.
Stop stalking me, Renzo.
If someone had told me a week ago that I'd be actively avoiding certain parts of my own office building, I would have laughed. I wasn't laughing anymore. Renzo Lombardi had become a problem. Not the getting fired kind of problem, which would have been easier to deal with. No, he'd become the kind of problem that showed up unannounced, leaned against door frames like he was posing for a magazine cover, and made comments that left me flustered for hours. It had been 3 days since the kitchen incident, 3 days of him finding increasingly creative ways to cross my path. Day 1, he'd randomly needed to review files from my department, my files specifically. Day 2, he'd decided the coffee in the executive floor wasn't good enough and came down to our break room. Twice. Day 3, today, I'd walked into my morning meeting to find him sitting in the corner, arms crossed, watching everything with that infuriating smirk. Since when do you attend marketing strategy meetings? I'd whispered to Sophie. Since never, she'd whispered back, her eyes wide. He's never attended any departmental meeting. Ever. Why is he looking at you like that? Like what? Like you're the only person in the room. She wasn't wrong, and that was the problem. Now it was lunch, and I was hiding, yes, hiding in the stairwell, eating a sad desk salad because the cafeteria felt too exposed. My phone buzzed. Unknown number. Eating in the stairwell? That's a new low, even for someone avoiding me. My fork clattered against the plastic container. How did he? I looked up. He was standing 2 floors above me, leaning over the railing, phone in hand, looking down with that expression that made me want to throw something at him. Are you stalking me? I called up. I prefer strategically aware of your location. He started down the stairs, each step deliberate and unhurried. Also, that salad looks depressing. It's healthy. It's sad leaves in a plastic box. He reached my level, and suddenly the stairwell felt much smaller. You're avoiding me. I'm eating lunch. In a stairwell. I like stairs. You tripped going up these exact stairs yesterday. Damn it. He'd seen that? I didn't trip. I stumbled. There's a difference. Semantics. He plucked the fork from my hand and examined my salad with exaggerated concern. Is this what you do? Hide and eat rabbit food? Give that back. No protein, no carbs. This isn't lunch, this is a cry for help. He pulled out his phone. Marco. Yes, bring lunch to the 4th floor stairwell, something that isn't depressing. 2 of everything. I don't want... You can't avoid me forever, Ava. Watch me. His smile widened, dangerous and amused. See, that's what I like about you. Most people would have quit by now, given up, smiled politely and pretended to enjoy my company. Maybe you should take the hint. Oh, I take all your hints. I just choose to ignore them. He sat down on the step next to me, too close, his expensive suit somehow not wrinkling. Tell me something. Why do you hate me? I don't hate you. You literally hide when you see me coming. That's not hate. That's self-preservation. He laughed, and the sound did something annoying to my stomach. From what? I'm harmless. You're many things, Renzo Lombardi. Harmless isn't one of them. Interesting. He shifted, angling toward me, and I became very aware of how his knee was almost touching mine. What things am I, then? Don't engage, don't. Arrogant, presumptuous, too confident for your own good. Those all sound like compliments. They're not. You're not very good at insults. You should work on that. His eyes sparkled with mischief. Though I have to say, the airport rant was impressive. You called me a jerk in an Italian suit with real conviction. You deserved it! Probably. He leaned back against the wall, studying me with that intensity that made my skin feel too tight. So what is it? The money? The power? Or is it just that I make you nervous? You don't make me nervous. Liar! Excuse me? Your left eye twitches when you lie. Right there. He reached out, and I swear my heart stopped as his finger hovered near my temple, not quite touching. See? It just did it again. I slapped his hand away. Don't do that. Do what? Point out that you're attracted to me? I am not. You are, and it bothers you. He leaned in closer, voice dropping to something lower, more intimate. You don't like that I affect you. Don't like that when I walk into a room, you notice. Don't like that right now, sitting here. You're very aware of how close I am. My breath caught. He was right, and I hated him for it. You think very highly of yourself. I think accurately about myself. His eyes dropped to my lips for a fraction of a second. And I think you're running scared because guys like me, the ones who know what they want and aren't afraid to pursue it, terrify you? Guys like you are exhausting. Guys like me are honest. We don't play games. We don't pretend. He tilted his head, and a strand of dark hair fell across his forehead in a way that should be illegal. I want to get to know you, Ava. I want to figure out what makes that brilliant mind work. I want to make you laugh. Really laugh. Not that annoyed huff you do. And yeah, I want to kiss you senseless, but I'm willing to wait for that. You're insane. Probably. He stood up as footsteps echoed below us. Marco appeared with bags of food that smelled infinitely better than my sad salad. But I'm also patient and stubborn, two qualities that serve me very well. He took the bags from Marco, who gave me a look that clearly said, I'm so sorry, before disappearing back down the stairs. Renzo set the food between us. Real lunch. Sandwiches, fruit, something that looked like gourmet cookies. I don't need you to feed me. Consider it a humanitarian effort. I can't have my employees living on rabbit food. He unwrapped a sandwich and handed it to me. Eat. Then you can go back to avoiding me. I'm not Ava. His voice went serious, and I looked up to find his expression had shifted into something more genuine. I'm not trying to make your life difficult. I'm just interested in you, in who you are when you're not yelling at strangers in airports or hiding in stairwells. Why? Because you're real. Because you challenge me. Because he paused, seeming to choose his words carefully. Because I'm surrounded by people who tell me what I want to hear, and you tell me I'm an expensive jerk and mean it. I took the sandwich, our fingers brushing in the exchange. That now familiar spark shot up my arm. This doesn't mean I like you. Of course not. He bit into his own sandwich. That smile back. You hate me. I get it. I don't hate you. You just strongly dislike me. You're complicated. I'm actually pretty simple. I see something I want. I pursue it. I don't apologize for being direct or confident. Life's too short for playing hard to get. Some of us call that arrogance. Some of us call it knowing your worth. He turned to face me fully. And speaking of worth, you're wasted in that analyst position. I've seen your reports. The marketing campaign you proposed last month? Brilliant. So why are you hiding in a mid-level role? The shift in conversation threw me. I'm not hiding. You are. You're smart, creative, capable, and you're playing small. His eyes held mine. Why? Maybe I'm happy where I am. Maybe you're scared of what happens if you try for more. The words hit harder than they should. You don't know me. Not yet, but I'm working on it. He stood, brushing invisible crumbs from his suit. Think about what I said, about the promotion, and about us. There is no us. Not yet, he repeated, that infuriating confidence back in full force. But there will be. You can fight it all you want, Ava, but I've never met anyone who needed to be pursued more than someone running this hard. That's the most arrogant thing I've ever heard. Is it arrogant if I'm right? He started down the stairs, then paused, looking back. Oh, and Ava, stop eating lunch in stairwells. It's beneath you. Tomorrow noon, I'm taking you to a real restaurant. Business lunch, We'll discuss your future with the company. I didn't agree. See you tomorrow, firecracker. And he was gone, leaving me in the stairwell with a half-eaten sandwich and a heart rate that had no business being that elevated. I pulled out my phone and texted Sophie. I think I'm in trouble. Her response was immediate. What kind of trouble? I stared at the empty stairwell where Renzo had been standing, remembering the way he'd looked at me, like I was a puzzle he was determined to solve, like I was something worth pursuing. The kind that ends badly, I typed back, but my traitorous brain added what I didn't type. Or maybe the kind that ends exactly right. Chapter 4, Boss Room.
This is a bad idea.
Later that afternoon, I was actually managing to focus on work when my desk phone rang. Ava Miller, come to my office. Renzo's voice commanding even through the phone line. I'm working. So am I. I need your input on something. Send an email. Ava, something in the way he said my name made my stomach flip. This is abuse of power. This is your boss requesting your presence. 5 minutes, top floor. He hung up before I could argue. Sophie's head appeared over the cubicle wall. Was that him? He wants me to come to his office. Oh my God, you're being promoted or fired or I'm being manipulated is what I'm being. I stood, smoothing my skirt. This is ridiculous. You're blushing. I'm annoyed. You're blushing and annoyed. She grinned. Go and tell me everything later. The executive floor was exactly what I expected. Sleek, modern, intimidating. His assistant, an elegant woman in her 50s who looked like she could kill you with a glance, barely looked up as I approached. He's expecting you. Go in. I knocked once, heard a muffled enter, and pushed open the door. The office was massive, floor-to-ceiling windows overlooking the city, minimalist furniture that probably cost more than my car, and Renzo behind a desk that looked like it could double as a weapon. He glanced up from his laptop, and his expression shifted into something warmer. You came? You're my boss. You summoned me. I came. Summoned? I like that. He stood, moving around the desk. Makes me sound powerful. You are powerful. That's the problem. Only a problem, if you let it be. He gestured to the sitting area, a couch and chairs arranged around a coffee table. Sit. I actually do need your opinion on something. I perched on the edge of the couch, trying to maintain professional distance. He sat in the chair across from me, close enough that our knees almost touched. He slid a folder across the table. New marketing campaign proposal. 3 different agencies submitted. I want your honest opinion on which one speaks to you. I opened the folder, surprised. You're actually asking for my professional input? You sound shocked. I am. I thought this was another excuse to... To what? He leaned forward, elbows on his knees, watching me with that intensity that made thinking difficult. Spend time with you? It is. But I'm also genuinely interested in your opinion. You're good at your job, Ava. Better than you give yourself credit for. I flipped through the proposals, trying to ignore how aware I was of him watching me. The first 2 were standard, uninspired. The third, this one, I said, tapping the page. It's bold, risky, but it's the only one that actually feels authentic. That's what I thought. He smiled, pleased. Everyone else recommended the safe option. You're the only one who saw the potential in taking a risk. Sometimes safe is just another word for forgettable. Exactly. He leaned back, studying me. See? This is why I wanted you here. You think differently. Or I'm just reckless. There's a difference between reckless and brave. His eyes held mine. You're brave, Ava, even when you're scared. Especially when you're scared. You don't know what scares me, don't I? He stood, moving to the windows, hands in his pockets. You're scared of wanting something you think you shouldn't want. Scared of letting someone in who might actually see you. Scared that maybe, just maybe, I'm not the villain you're trying to make me into. I stood too defensive. You think you have me all figured out. I think you're figuring yourself out and you don't like what you're discovering. He turned, and suddenly we were standing too close again. This kept happening. I think you feel something when I'm near, and it terrifies you because you can't control it. You're so arrogant. Am I wrong? He took a step closer, then another. I should back up, should maintain distance, but my feet refused to move. Tell me I'm wrong, Ava. Tell me you don't feel this. This is, what? Inappropriate? Unprofessional? Another step. His voice dropped lower. Or is it just inconvenient that I make you feel things you don't want to feel? Stop. But it came out breathy, not commanding. Stop what? Telling the truth? He was close enough now that I could feel the heat radiating from him. You hate that I see through you. Hate that I'm not intimidated by your defenses. Hate that part of you, the part you try to ignore, wants to see what happens if you stop running. My back hit the window. When had I moved? When had he gotten so close? This is a terrible idea, I whispered. Probably the worst I've had in years. His hand came up, fingers barely grazing my jaw. The touch was feather-light, but it sent electricity through every nerve. But I've built an empire on terrible ideas that turned out brilliant. I don't do this. Guys like you, this situation? What situation? His thumb traced my cheekbone, and I forgot how to breathe. This power dynamic. This whatever this is. This is called chemistry, Ava. Raw, undeniable, inconvenient chemistry. His eyes dropped to my lips, and I felt that gaze like a physical touch. And it has nothing to do with power dynamics, and everything to do with the fact that from the moment you yelled at me in that airport, I haven't been able to stop thinking about you. You're insane, I breathed. You keep saying that. His face was inches from mine now, close enough that I could count his eyelashes, close enough to smell his cologne and something uniquely him. You keep calling me arrogant and insane and impossible, but you're still here, still letting me stand this close, still looking at me like you can't decide if you want to push me away or pull me closer. I want to push you away. Liar. His other hand came to rest on the window beside my head, caging me in. Your eye just twitched again. And then he leaned in, and time did that stupid thing where it slowed down. His breath ghosted across my lips. Another inch, and his phone rang. The shrill sound shattered the moment. He closed his eyes, jaw clenching in frustration. Don't move, he ordered, voice rough. Ava, don't move! He stepped back, pulling the phone from his pocket, and the loss of his proximity felt like cold water. This better be important, he growled into the phone. A pause. Damn it, fine. Give me 5 minutes. He hung up, running a hand through his hair, and when he looked at me, his eyes were still dark with want. I have to go. Emergency meeting. I nodded, not trusting my voice. He crossed back to me, and my heart resumed its chaotic rhythm. His hand cupped my face, thumb brushing across my lower lip in a touch so intimate it made my knees weak. This conversation isn't over. There's nothing to talk about. Ava, he leaned in, lips barely grazing my ear. Tomorrow, lunch. You're going to stop fighting this long enough for us to have an actual conversation. And after that, his breath was warm against my neck. After that, you're going to admit that you feel this too. You're so sure of yourself. I'm sure of us. He pulled back, and that dangerous smile was back. See you tomorrow, firecracker. Try not to hide from me too much before then. It hurts my feelings. You don't have feelings. You'd be surprised what you bring out in me. And then he was gone, leaving me against the window, heart racing, knees shaking, and absolutely certain of one thing. I was in so much trouble. Chapter 5. The Real Conflict.
Tell me the truth.
I spent the entire evening convincing myself I wasn't going to that lunch. Then I spent the entire morning picking out an outfit that said, I'm only here professionally, while secretly hoping it also said, but I look amazing. The duality of woman, I guess. Sophie caught me reapplying lipstick in the bathroom mirror at 11:45 a.m. You said you weren't going. I'm not going. Then why are you? Professional courtesy. If my boss wants a business lunch, I should look presentable. Uh-huh. She leaned against the sink, smirking. And the fact that you've changed outfits twice has nothing to do with... Don't finish that sentence. How much you want to impress him? I changed because the first one had coffee stains. And the second one was too... I gestured vaguely. Too what? I don't know. I'm trying too hard. Sweetie, you are trying too hard. Whose side are you on? Yours? Always. She bumped my shoulder. But maybe it's okay to admit you like him a little bit. I don't like him. He's arrogant and manipulative and... Hot. You forgot. Hot. I was getting there, I muttered, shoving the lipstick back in my bag. At exactly noon, my desk phone rang, because of course he was punctual. Ready? His voice was warm, amused, like he knew I'd been debating this all morning. This is just a business lunch. Of course. Very professional. I promised to only think about kissing you every 5 minutes instead of every 2. Renzo, I'll be downstairs in 2 minutes. Don't make me come find you. That sounds like a threat. It's a promise. There's a difference. He hung up, and I stared at the phone like it had personally betrayed me. Go, Sophie whispered loudly from her desk. Before he actually comes up here, I grabbed my bag and headed for the elevator, my stomach doing gymnastics. This was fine. Just lunch. Just Two adults having a professional conversation about whatever bosses and employees talked about. Definitely not about the way he'd almost kissed me yesterday, or how I'd dreamed about it, or how I'd woken up frustrated that his stupid phone had interrupted. The elevator doors opened, and there he was, leaning against a sleek black car that probably cost more than my college education, looking like he'd stepped out of a magazine spread titled Dangerously Attractive Men Who Ruin Your Life. "You came," he said, pushing off the car. "You're my boss. I didn't have much choice." "You always have a choice, Ava." He opened the passenger door. "That's what makes this interesting. You keep choosing to show up. Maybe I'm just hungry. Keep telling yourself that." His hand settled on the small of my back as I slid into the car, and that simple touch sent heat spiraling through me. The interior smelled like leather in him. He climbed into the driver's seat, and I tried not to notice how his hands looked on the steering wheel. Strong, capable, the kind of hands that... "Stop it, brain. Where are we going?" I asked as he pulled into traffic. "Somewhere quiet, private, where we can actually talk." "That sounds ominous." "Does it?" He glanced at me, that corner smile appearing. "What exactly do you think I'm planning to do to you?" My cheeks heated. "I didn't mean..." "Because I have several ideas, but they all require your enthusiastic consent, and I don't think we're there yet." "You're impossible. You're blushing." "I'm not." I caught my reflection in the window. Damn it. "It's warm in here. It's 68 degrees. Perfect temperature." His hand moved to the gear shift, close enough to my knee that I could feel the proximity. "But if you need me to cool things down, I can adjust. Though personally, I like the heat." The double meaning wasn't lost on me. We drove through the city, and I tried to focus on anything other than how good he smelled, or how the sunlight caught in his dark hair, or how his jaw clenched slightly when he concentrated on the road. "You're staring," he said without looking at me. "I'm not..." "Ava, I can feel it. It's distracting." "Good. You're always distracting me. Consider it payback." That made him laugh, a real laugh that transformed his face. Fair enough. We pulled up to a restaurant I'd never heard of, the kind of place that probably didn't have prices on the menu, because if you had to ask, you couldn't afford it. "This is too much," I said, as a valet opened my door. "It's lunch." Renzo's hand found that spot on my back again, guiding me toward the entrance. "And before you argue, I eat here twice a week. The owner's an old friend." "Of course he is. Do you know everyone in this city?" "Only the people worth knowing." He held the door open. "And now you." The restaurant was elegant in that understated way that screamed old money, but Renzo led me past the main dining room to a private terrace overlooking the water. One table, 2 chairs, complete privacy. "This seems excessive for a business lunch," I said as he pulled out my chair. "Maybe I wanted you to myself." He sat across from me, and even with the table between us, I felt too close. "Maybe I'm tired of sharing you with the entire office." "You don't share me. I'm not yours to share." "Not yet." Renzo... "Relax, firecracker. I'm kidding." But his eyes said he wasn't kidding at all. "Mostly." A waiter appeared with wine, and I noticed Renzo didn't even look at a menu. He just ordered for both of us in flawless Italian, his voice taking on a different quality in his native language. Smoother, darker, somehow even more attractive. When the waiter left, I raised an eyebrow. "You just ordered for me?" "You don't like pasta?" "That's not the point. The point is that you would have spent 10 minutes agonizing over the menu, ordered something safe, and then spent the entire meal wishing you'd been more adventurous." He leaned back, studying me. "I'm saving you from yourself." How very thoughtful and chauvinistic. "I prefer decisive." His smile was pure mischief. "Besides, if you hate it, I'll let you order something else. But you won't hate it." So sure of yourself. Always. The food arrived, and damn him, it was incredible. Fresh pasta with truffle oil, perfectly cooked vegetables, flavors that made me want to close my eyes and moan. "Don't say it," I warned, as his smile widened. "Don't say what? That I was right? That you love it? That you're currently experiencing what I can only describe as food-induced pleasure?" "All of the above." "Your expression says otherwise. You look like you're having a religious experience with that fettuccine." I pointed my fork at him. "Shut up and eat your food." "See? This is what I'm talking about. You're fun, Ava. You fight back. You don't just agree with everything I say." "Is that what you want? Someone who agrees with everything?" "God, no. I'd be bored in 5 minutes." He twirled pasta on his fork with practiced ease. "I want someone who challenges me, who calls me on my bullshit, who isn't afraid to tell me I'm an expensive jerk in an airport." "You're never going to let that go, are you?" "Never." It's my favorite memory of the past year. We ate in comfortable silence for a moment, and I found myself relaxing despite everything. This was nice, easy. The banter felt natural, and underneath the constant flirting, there was something genuine. "Can I ask you something?" I said finally. "Anything." "Why me? Really? You could have anyone? Models, celebrities, women who actually fit into your world." I set down my fork. "So why chase after someone who yelled at you and actively tries to avoid you?" His expression shifted, becoming more serious. "You want the honest answer?" "Please." He was quiet for a moment, choosing his words carefully. "I've spent my entire adult life building an empire, making money, gaining power, and somewhere along the way, everyone around me started treating me like a commodity. They see what I can give them, what I can do for them, how I can elevate their status or pad their bank account." He looked out at the water, and for the first time, I saw something vulnerable in his profile. "And then there you were, furious, beautiful, completely unimpressed. You didn't care who I was. You just saw someone who annoyed you and you let me have it." He looked back at me, and the intensity in his eyes made my breath catch. "Do you know how rare that is? To have someone see you as just a person, not a boss or a bank account or a connection to exploit?" "I still yelled at you. You were honest, raw, real." His hand moved across the table, fingertips barely brushing mine. "That's what I want, Ava. Someone real. Someone who isn't afraid of me. Someone who makes me work for it." My heart was doing that stupid thing again. "You make it sound romantic, but it's not. It's just me being stressed and bad-tempered. It's you being yourself, and I." He stopped, seeming surprised by what he was about to say. "I like who I am around you. I like that I can't just charm my way into your good graces. I like that you keep me on my toes." "You barely know me." "Then let me know you. That's all I'm asking." Before I could respond, his phone buzzed, and then again, then didn't stop. His jaw tightened as he glanced at the screen. "I need to take this." "Go ahead." He answered in Italian, his voice sharp and commanding. I didn't understand the words, but I understood the tone. Something was wrong. His entire demeanor changed. The playful man from moments ago disappeared, replaced by someone harder, colder. The powerful businessman, or whatever he really was, beneath the charming exterior. He ended the call and immediately made another, speaking rapidly, giving orders that sounded urgent. "Is everything okay?" I asked when he finally set the phone down. "It's handled," but his expression said otherwise. "I'm sorry. Work emergency." "What kind of work requires that many emergency calls?" He looked at me for a long moment, and I saw him weighing something. "Ava, you asked why I chose you, but there's something you need to understand about who I am, about what I do." My stomach tightened. "Okay, my businesses, the legitimate ones, they're only part of the picture." He leaned forward, elbows on the table. "I operate in spaces that aren't always clean. I make deals that exist in gray areas. I have connections that would make you uncomfortable." "Are you saying you're dangerous?" "Yes. Morally ambiguous? Absolutely." His eyes held mine. "But I'm telling you this because I don't want to lie to you. If this, whatever this is between us, is going to go anywhere, you need to know what you're getting into." "You're in the Mafia," I said quietly. He didn't confirm or deny it, just watched me, waiting for my reaction. The whispers in the office, the security, the way people look at you. I sat back. "It's not just because you're rich." "No." "And you're telling me this, why? To scare me off?" "To give you an out." His voice was serious, no trace of the playful man from earlier. "Because once you're in my world, it's hard to leave. And I don't want you to look back and say, I didn't warn you. I should be scared, should run, should get up right now and—" That phone call. Was someone in danger? A shipment was intercepted. One of my people was caught in the middle. He ran a hand through his hair. "He's fine, but it was close." "Does this happen a lot?" "More often than I'd like." I processed this, my mind racing. "So, when you said you're dangerous—" "I meant it. People who get close to me become targets. It's why I don't—" He trailed off. "It's why I usually don't pursue relationships." "Usually?" "You're the exception." His hand covered mine on the table. "And maybe that makes me selfish. Maybe I should let you walk away right now, but I can't seem to make myself do it." The vulnerability in his voice undid something in me. This wasn't the arrogant boss or the smooth-talking playboy. This was someone lonely, someone who'd built walls so high that he'd forgotten what it felt like to let someone in. "I should be running," I said softly. "You should." I should be terrified. Absolutely. But I'm not, and I wasn't. Strangely, I felt safe, protected, like whatever darkness existed in his world, it wouldn't touch me. Why aren't I scared of you? Maybe because you see past the reputation, past the danger. His thumb traced circles on my palm. Maybe because you're braver than you think. Or maybe I'm an idiot. You're many things, Ava Miller. An idiot isn't one of them. We sat there, hands connected across the table, the weight of his confession hanging between us. I'm not asking you to decide anything today, he said finally. I'm just asking you to think about it, about whether you want this, want me, in your life, with all the complications that come with it. And if I say no, pain flashed across his face, then I respect that, and I leave you alone. You would? Really? I'm dangerous, Ava, not a monster. If you want out, you're out, no questions asked. I believed him. Somehow, despite everything, I believed him completely. I need time, I said. Take all the time you need. He stood, coming around the table to help me up. But know this, whatever you decide, it won't change how I feel about you. And how do you feel? He cupped my face, his touch gentle despite the calluses on his palms. Like I've been waiting my whole life to find someone who makes me want to be better. Someone who makes all of this, he gestured vaguely at everything, actually means something. That's a lot of pressure. You can handle it. You're strong enough. His thumb brushed across my cheek. Stronger than you give yourself credit for. We stood there, the space between us charged with everything unsaid. I could feel the pull, the magnetic attraction that had been building since that airport encounter. I should get back to work, I whispered, even though I didn't want to move. You should, but he didn't step back. One more thing. What? His hand slid to the back of my neck, drawing me closer. I need you to know something. What? I breathed. I'm not playing games with you. This isn't some chase where I lose interest once I win. His forehead touched mine. Whatever happens between us, it's real for me. Maybe the first real thing I've had in years. My hands had somehow found their way to his chest, feeling his heartbeat under the expensive fabric. It was racing, matching mine. Renzo, say my name again. Renzo, I whispered, and felt him shudder. Cristo, the way you say it. His lips were so close to mine, barely a breath away. Tell me to stop. What if I don't want you to? His grip tightened, and I could feel the restraint in every line of his body. Then we're both in trouble. Maybe I like trouble. Careful what you wish for, firecracker. He leaned in, and this time nothing interrupted. His lips brushed mine, soft and questioning, giving me one last chance to pull away. I didn't. The kiss started gentle, almost reverent, but quickly deepened into something that stole my breath. His hand tangled in my hair, the other arm wrapping around my waist, pulling me flush against him. I melted into it, into him. Years of playing it safe, dissolving in the heat between us. He kissed like he did everything, with complete confidence and absolute focus, like I was the only thing that mattered in the world. When we finally broke apart, both breathing hard, he rested his forehead against mine. Worth the wait, he murmured, arrogant. Honest. He pulled back slightly, his eyes dark and intense. And now you have even more to think about. My phone chose that moment to buzz insistently. Work, reality, the reminder that we'd been gone way longer than a business lunch should take. I really do need to get back, I said reluctantly. I know. He pressed one more quick kiss to my lips. But this conversation isn't over. Neither is this. He gestured between us. Not by a long shot. The drive back was quieter, charged with new awareness. His hand found mine on the center console, fingers intertwined, and it felt like something had fundamentally shifted. When he dropped me off, he caught my wrist before I could exit the car. Ava, whatever you decide, I meant what I said. You're safe with me, always. I nodded, not trusting my voice, and practically floated back to my desk. Sophie took one look at my face and grinned. Oh, you are in so much trouble. You have no idea, I murmured, touching my lips, still feeling the ghost of his kiss. And the terrifying, exhilarating truth was, I didn't want to run anymore. Chapter 6. The War of Love.
Am I a target?
3 days. 3 days since that kiss that had completely rewired my brain chemistry. 3 days of Renzo showing up at my desk with coffee, sending me texts that made me blush in meetings, and generally making it impossible to pretend nothing had changed. Sophie said I was glowing. I told her it was a new moisturizer. She didn't buy it. He's staring at you again, she whispered during our Friday afternoon meeting. I didn't need to look. I could feel his gaze from across the conference room like a physical touch, Renzo had insisted on attending our marketing presentation, something he'd never done before, and had spent the entire hour watching me instead of the slides. "Focus on the presentation," I whispered back. "I am focused. Focused on the way he looks at you like you're the only person in the room. Sophie, it's romantic. Like a movie. Powerful mafia boss falls for regular girl. He's not." I lowered my voice. "We don't know for sure he's..." "Ava, everyone knows. We just don't talk about it." She glanced at him, then back at me. "The question is, are you okay with it?" Was I? I'd spent 3 days thinking about nothing else, about the danger, about the complications, about how his world was so different from mine, but also about how he made me laugh, how he challenged me, how being with him felt like finally taking a deep breath after holding it for years. "I don't know," I admitted. The meeting ended, and I gathered my notes, trying to ignore how Renzo was taking his time leaving, clearly waiting for everyone else to clear out. "Ms. Miller, a moment." His voice was professional, but his eyes were anything but. Sophie gave me a look that said, "Good luck," and practically ran out. Once the door closed, his entire demeanor shifted. He loosened his tie, that practiced businessman facade cracking into something more genuine. "You're avoiding me," he said, leaning against the conference table. "I'm not. You've eaten lunch in the stairwell twice this week. You're definitely avoiding me. Maybe I like stairs." "Ava," he crossed his arms, and the way his shirt pulled across his shoulders should be illegal. "Talk to me. What's going on in that brilliant head of yours?" I set down my notes, trying to organize my thoughts. "I'm trying to figure out if I'm brave or stupid. For wanting this. You, despite knowing what it means." I met his eyes. "You told me who you are, what you do, and I should be running, but I'm not. And I don't know if that makes me courageous or just reckless." He moved closer, each step deliberate. "What if it makes you neither? What if it just makes you someone who's willing to take a risk on something real?" "You make it sound simple." "It is simple. I want you. You want me. Everything else is just..." His phone rang, that same urgent tone from the restaurant. His expression darkened immediately. "I need to take this." "Go ahead," he answered in Italian, his voice sharp and cold in a way that made me shiver. This was the other Renzo, the dangerous one, the one I'd only glimpsed before. "When?" he snapped. "How many?" A pause. "Nobody moves until I get there. Understood?" He ended the call and immediately made another. "Marco, situation at the warehouse. I need everyone ready. Full security protocol." My stomach dropped. "What's wrong?" "Nothing you need to worry about." But his jaw was tight, his entire body radiating tension. "Renzo, I need to go. Stay here. Don't leave the building until I text you that it's clear." "Clear? What does that mean?" He cupped my face, and for a moment the dangerous boss disappeared, and I saw real worry in his eyes. "It means some people aren't happy about certain business decisions I've made. It means they might try to send a message. And it means you're now associated with me, which makes you a potential target." Fear spiked through me. Should I be scared? No, because I won't let anything happen to you. He pressed a quick, hard kiss to my lips. "Stay in the building. Marco will have someone watch the entrances. I'll handle this." "Handle what, exactly?" "The kind of thing you're better off not knowing details about." He was already moving toward the door. "I'll explain later. Just trust me, please." And then he was gone, leaving me in the empty conference room with my heart pounding and 1,000 questions. I tried to work. Really, I did. But every sound made me jump. Every notification made my heart race. Sophie appeared at my desk around 6. "Most people have left. You staying late?" "Renzo said to stay in the building." Her eyes widened. "Oh, is everything okay?" "I don't know. He got a call and just left. Told me not to leave until he said it was safe." "That's both terrifying and kind of romantic." "Sophie, I'm just saying, he's literally keeping you safe from..." She paused. "Whatever it is he does." My phone buzzed. On the phone, Renzo. "Still handling things. You okay?" Me. "Fine. Bored." "Should I be worried?" Renzo. "About the situation, no, I have it under control. About me showing up at your apartment later covered in metaphorical blood? Maybe." Me. "That's not reassuring." Renzo. "It wasn't meant to be reassuring. It was meant to be honest." Renzo. "Though I promise the blood will only be metaphorical. I'm trying to be civilized for you." Me. "How thoughtful." Renzo. "I'm a gentleman like that." Despite everything, I smiled. 2 hours later, my phone rang. His name on the screen made my pulse jump. Hello? Come downstairs. His voice was rough, tired. Now, is everything... Ava, please, just come down. Chapter 7. The Declaration.
I'm not running, Renzo.
I grabbed my bag and practically ran to the elevator. The lobby was empty except for 2 men in dark suits, his security, who nodded at me as I passed. Renzo's car was parked out front, and he was leaning against it, looking different. His tie was gone, his shirt partially unbuttoned, hair disheveled like he'd run his hands through it 100 times. There was a cut on his cheekbone, and what looked like the beginning of a bruise on his jaw. Oh my God! I reached for his face, but he caught my hand. I'm fine. It looks worse than it is. What happened? Got into a disagreement with some people who think they can push me around. He pulled me closer, and I could feel the tension vibrating through him. They were wrong. Renzo, I need to get you home. Make sure you're safe. Then I need to deal with the aftermath of tonight. He opened the passenger door. Get in. I did, and he slid into the driver's seat, pulling into traffic with barely controlled aggression. Talk to me, I said quietly. What happened? Nothing you need details about. Stop protecting me from the truth. If I'm going to be part of your life, I need to know what that means. He was quiet for a long moment, his hands tight on the steering wheel. There's a rival organization. They've been trying to move into my territory for months. Tonight they made a move, tried to take out one of my shipments and send a message. And I sent a message back. He glanced at me, and his eyes were cold in a way I'd never seen. I'm not a good man, Ava. I do things that would horrify you. I make decisions that keep me up at night. I have blood on my hands, metaphorical and otherwise. Are you trying to scare me away? I'm trying to be honest. You wanted the truth? Here it is. I hurt people who threaten what's mine. I don't negotiate with people who try to undermine me. And tonight, I made sure everyone in this city knows that crossing me has consequences. We pulled up to my apartment building, and he killed the engine, turning to face me fully. So here's your out. Right now, you can walk away and I'll make sure you're protected from any fallout. No hard feelings, no consequences. Just walk away before you're in too deep. I should. Every logical part of my brain screamed that I should get out of the car and never look back, but I didn't move. You're bleeding, I said instead, reaching up to gently touch the cut on his cheek. He caught my wrist, his grip careful despite the tension in him. Ava, come upstairs. Let me clean that. You should... Renzo, I met his eyes. Come upstairs. Something shifted in his expression, relief mixed with disbelief. You're not running. Apparently not. You're insane! You keep saying that. I opened the car door. Are you coming or not? He followed me up to my apartment, silent but present. Once inside, I pointed to the couch. Sit. He obeyed, surprisingly, while I grabbed my first aid kit from the bathroom. This is gonna sting, I warned, dabbing antiseptic on the cut. He didn't even flinch. Just watched me with those intense dark eyes. Why aren't you scared? He asked quietly. I am scared. Terrified, actually. I moved to the bruise on his jaw, my touch gentle. But not of you. Never of you. You should be. I'm dangerous, Ava. People around me get hurt. Then don't let me get hurt. I set down the cotton ball, my hands coming to rest on his shoulders. You said I'm safe with you. So keep me safe. His hands found my waist, pulling me to stand between his legs. It's not that simple. It is that simple. You're making it complicated. You don't know what you're getting into. Then show me. Stop trying to push me away and just show me who you really are. All of it. The good, the bad, the dangerous. I can handle it. Christo, you're going to be the death of me. His forehead dropped to my stomach, his arms wrapping around my waist. I've never wanted to protect someone more than I want to protect you. But I also can't seem to let you go. I ran my fingers through his hair, feeling him relax slightly under my touch. So don't. He looked up, and the vulnerability in his expression made my heart ache. I've done terrible things to get where I am. Built an empire on fear and control. And then you stumbled into my life. Literally stumbled. And suddenly, none of it matters except keeping you safe, making you smile, making you mine. Renzo, I need you to understand something. He stood, his hands framing my face. I meant what I said at the airport when you yelled at me, when you called me out without fear. In that moment, I knew you were going to be important. I just didn't know how much. That's why you came to the office. I had your name within an hour of landing, found out where you worked, and I made a decision that was probably the most reckless thing I've done in years. His thumb traced my lower lip. I decided I was going to pursue you, no matter what it took. no matter how much you fought it. That's incredibly arrogant. I know, but I also knew. I know that we're supposed to happen. You and me, this thing between us. His voice dropped lower. You feel it too. Don't tell me you don't. I feel it, I whispered. It terrifies me. Good. I'd be worried if you weren't scared. This thing between us, it's not safe. It's not comfortable. It's intense and consuming and probably a terrible idea. You're really selling it. He laughed, and the sound was rough but genuine. What I'm saying is that I'm all in, Ava. Completely. Recklessly. And I need to know if you are too. Because if you're not, if you're going to run eventually, I need you to do it now, before I fall any harder. My heart stuttered. Fall? Did I stutter? His eyes held mine, unflinching. I'm falling for you, firecracker. Have been since you yelled at me about Italian suits and told me I was an expensive jerk. And after tonight, after you didn't run when you saw what I'm capable of, I'm done pretending this is anything other than what it is. What is it? You, me, this ridiculous, impossible thing that shouldn't work but does. He kissed me, soft and deep. So what do you say? You ready to stop running and see where this goes? I thought about the past few weeks, the chaos, the intensity, the way he made me feel alive in a way I'd never experienced. I have conditions, I said finally. Of course you do. But he was smiling. You don't get to make decisions for me. No pulling the I'm protecting you card to push me away. We communicate, honestly, even when it's scary. Done. What else? You respect my independence. I'm not some delicate thing you need to keep locked away. I have my own life, my own career. I'd never ask you to give that up, though I am going to insist on security. Reasonable. I paused. And sometimes you let me win arguments, even when I'm being stubborn. Absolutely not. Where's the fun in that? Renzo, I'll compromise on occasion. That's the best you're getting. Fine. I wrapped my arms around his neck. Then yes, I'm in. All the way in. Even though you're dangerous and arrogant, and you make terrible jokes about your profession. They're not jokes. I genuinely think my questionable business practices are hilarious. See? Terrible. He kissed me again, deeper this time, his hands sliding into my hair. When we finally broke apart, he rested his forehead against mine. You're mine now, he murmured. You know that, right? Is that your attempt at a romantic declaration? Would you prefer I do better? Get down on one knee? Recite poetry? God, no. This is perfect. I pulled back to look at him. Though you could work on your delivery, your mine is a bit possessive. I'm a possessive man when it comes to things I care about. He traced my jawline. And I care about you more than I should. More than is probably wise. More than I've cared about anything in years. That's better. See? You can be romantic when you try. Only for you, firecracker. Only for you. He kissed me again, and this time there was no holding back. His hands gripped my waist, pulling me flush against him. I tangled my fingers in his hair, and he groaned against my mouth. Ava, he breathed. If we don't stop now, who said anything about stopping? His eyes darkened. Are you sure? You just gave me a whole speech about being all in, about this being real. I tugged him toward my bedroom. So show me this is real. Christo, you're going to kill me. But he followed, that dangerous smile back in place. Though what a way to go. Fade to next morning. I woke up wrapped around Renzo like a koala, which should have been embarrassing, but somehow wasn't. He was already awake, one hand playing with my hair, looking more relaxed than I'd ever seen him. Morning, I mumbled against his chest. Morning, firecracker. He pressed a kiss to the top of my head. Sleep well? You? Best sleep I've had in years. I propped myself up on my elbow to look at him. The morning light caught on the cut on his cheek, reminder of last night's danger. Does it hurt? Not even a little. His hand cupped my face. Worth every second if it brought me here. That's probably the most romantic thing you've ever said to me. Stick around. I'm full of surprises. I'm learning that. We stayed like that for a while, just existing in the quiet comfort of each other. Eventually, his phone buzzed insistently on the nightstand. He groaned. Ignore it. It could be important. Everything's always important. Right now, you're more important. The phone kept buzzing. Renzo! Fine. He grabbed it, his expression softening as he read. It's Marco. Everything's handled. The situation from last night is resolved. Resolved how? In a way that ensures it won't happen again. He set the phone down. But that's business. This, he gestured between us, is personal and infinitely more interesting. You're ridiculous. You like it? Unfortunately, I do. He rolled, pinning me beneath him, his weight comfortable. And right. Say it again. Say what? That you like me. I want to hear it. Your ego doesn't need the boost. My ego needs constant reinforcement. I'm very insecure. You're the least insecure person I've ever met. About business, sure. About you? His expression turned serious. Completely terrified. Of me? Of losing you. Of messing this up. Of having you realize you deserve better. He kissed me softly. So humor me. Tell me you're staying. I looked up at this complicated, dangerous, surprisingly vulnerable man and felt something click into place. I'm staying, you arrogant, impossible, somehow charming mafia boss. Best title I've ever had, he grinned. Though I prefer boyfriend. Boyfriend? That's very high school. Fine. Significant other. Partner in crime, literally. The man who's completely obsessed with you. Better? The man who's falling for you harder every day and has absolutely no intention of letting you go. Even better. He kissed me, slow and deep and full of promise. Get used to it, firecracker. You're stuck with me now. I can think of worse fates. Name one. Having to eat lunch in stairwells alone. He laughed, and the sound filled my small apartment with warmth. Fair point, though I'd join you in any stairwell if it meant spending time with you. Now you're just being sappy! You bring it out in me. And as we lay there, trading kisses and terrible jokes, I realized something. Sometimes the most dangerous choice is also the right one. Sometimes you have to take the leap. Sometimes you have to yell at a stranger in an airport and let the chaos that follows change your entire life. Chapter 8. Perfectly chaotic.
Dinner first.
2 weeks later. Absolutely not. Renzo looked up from his desk, that infuriating smile already forming. You didn't even let me finish. You were about to suggest moving me to the executive floor. The answer is no. I crossed my arms, standing in his office doorway like I owned the place, which, technically, he did, but semantics. How did you... Marco told Sophie who told me. Your communication chain needs work. He leaned back in his chair, tie loosened, looking unfairly attractive for someone who'd been in meetings all morning. It would be more convenient. For you, not for me. I walked in, shutting the door behind me. We talked about this. I keep my job, my independence, my desk on the 4th floor with Sophie. Even though it means I have to come down 4 floors every time I want to see you, you could try this revolutionary thing called texting. Where's the fun in that? He stood, moving around the desk with that predatory grace that still made my stomach flip. I like showing up unannounced, keeping you on your toes. You like torturing me. I like watching you blush when I whisper inappropriate things during meetings. He was close now, hands sliding around my waist. There's a difference. That was 1 time. 3 times. I counted. His lips brushed my ear. And you loved every second. Damn him for being right. You're impossible, I muttered, but didn't pull away. You're repeating yourself. You said that at the airport, remember? His hands splayed across my lower back. Right before you called me an expensive jerk and stormed off. I didn't storm. I walked with purpose. You tripped over your suitcase. A momentary lapse in coordination. Ava! His voice dropped lower, that tone that made my knees weak. You've had several momentary lapses just this week. Yesterday you walked into a glass door. It was very clean. The whole point of glass is to be transparent. This morning you spilled coffee on yourself. The cup was too hot. And just now, on your way in here, you almost fell coming through the door. I had, but I wasn't about to admit it. Your office has a weird threshold. He laughed, the sound rumbling through his chest into mine. You're adorable when you're defensive. I'm not adorable. I'm capable and professional, and stop looking at me like that. Like what? Like you're thinking inappropriate thoughts. I'm always thinking inappropriate thoughts about you. That's not new. His thumb traced circles on my hip. Though right now I'm thinking about how you look in my office, in my space, how right it feels. Renzo, how much I want to lock that door, and a knock interrupted him. Marco's voice came through. Boss, the conference call in 5 minutes. Renzo's jaw clenched in frustration. Timing. Story of our lives, I agreed, stepping back. Go. Be a powerful businessman. I'll be on my floor, being a capable employee. Tonight, he said, catching my wrist. Dinner. My place. I'm cooking. You cook? I have many hidden talents. That dangerous smile. most of which you haven't discovered yet. Is that a threat or a promise? Both. He pulled me back for a quick, searing kiss. 7 o'clock. Don't be late. What if I am? Then I'll come get you, and I won't be patient about it. The promise in his voice sent heat through me. 7 o'clock, I agreed breathlessly. I tried to focus on work. Really, I did, but my mind kept drifting to tonight, to Renzo, to how drastically my life had changed in just a few weeks. Sophie appeared at my desk, dropping into the visitor chair. You're smiling at your computer screen. Either you're having a stroke or you're thinking about him. I'm working. You're literally staring at a blank spreadsheet. I blinked. She was right. Okay, fine. Maybe I'm a little distracted. A little? She grinned. Girl, you've got it bad. It's still new. We're still figuring things out. Please. That man looks at you like you hung the moon, and you look at him like he's the only person in the room. She leaned forward. So when's the wedding? Wedding? Sophie? We've been together 2 weeks. In Mafia boss timeline, that's like 3 years. She was clearly enjoying this. Plus, I've seen the way he is with you. That man is gone. Completely smitten. He's not smitten. He's interested. Ava, yesterday, he had your favorite lunch delivered from that place across town. This morning, there were flowers on your desk. Last week, he rearranged his entire schedule to drive you home because it was raining. He's attentive. He's obsessed in a hot, romantic way, not a creepy way, she clarified. Though if anyone else did half the things he does, it would be weird. But on him, it's charming. You're not helping. I'm absolutely helping. I'm giving you perspective. That man is crazy about you. Own it. Enjoy it. Stop overthinking it. Maybe she had a point. At 6:55 p.m., I stood outside Renzo's penthouse, smoothing down my dress and questioning every decision that led me here. The door opened before I could knock. Renzo stood there in jeans, actual jeans, and a fitted black t-shirt that should be illegal. You're early, he said, eyes traveling over me in a way that made me self-conscious and powerful at the same time. You said don't be late. I also said 7. It's 6:55. So I'm punctual. Sue me. He pulled me inside, kicking the door shut behind us. I'd rather kiss you. And he did, thoroughly, until I forgot what we were talking about. When he finally pulled back, I was breathless. Hi. Hi yourself? He tucked a strand of hair behind my ear. You look beautiful. You clean up nice, too. I didn't know you owned jeans. I own lots of things, most of which I'm dying to show you. The double meaning was clear. Food first, then we'll see about tours. He laughed, leading me into the kitchen where something smelled incredible. Italian, obviously. My nonna's recipe. You have a grandmother? Had. She passed a few years ago, but she taught me everything about cooking. He stirred something on the stove. Said any man who couldn't feed himself, or a woman, wasn't worth much. Smart woman. She would have liked you. Probably would have told me I didn't deserve you. Also smart. He shot me a look over his shoulder. You're supposed to disagree with that part. Why? It's true. Ava, I'm kidding, mostly. I hopped up on the counter, watching him work. This domestic side of him was unexpected and somehow even more attractive. Though you do have a habit of being impossible. And you have a habit of keeping me humble. He moved between my legs, hands on my thighs. Balance. Is this your way of getting handsy while cooking? I'm a multitasker. His thumbs traced small circles. Besides, you sitting on my counter in that dress? I'm only human. Barely. I'm pretty sure normal humans don't run criminal empires. Alleged criminal empire? No proof. But his eyes sparkled with mischief. Right. All those mysterious business meetings at odd hours are completely legitimate. Exactly. See? You get it. He kissed me quickly and returned to the stove. Now stop distracting me or I'll burn dinner. I'm distracting you. You're the one who... Everything you do distracts me. Your smile, your laugh, the way you argue with me, the way you're sitting on my counter right now looking at me like... He paused. Like that. Like what? Like you're happy. Like you're exactly where you want to be. Maybe I am, I said softly. His expression shifted into something more tender. Good, because I plan on keeping you here as long as possible. In your kitchen? In my life, smartass. Dinner was perfect. The food, the conversation, the easy way we fell into rhythm with each other. He told me stories about his grandmother, about growing up in Italy, about how he'd built his empire from nothing. I told him about my family, my dreams, my fears, things I'd never shared with anyone. Can I ask you something? I said as we cleared the dishes. Anything. Do you ever regret it, the path you chose? He was quiet for a moment, considering. Regret? No, but I'm not naive enough to think it's been all good. I've made choices that keep me up at night, hurt people who probably didn't deserve it. He turned to me. But I can't change the past. I can only try to be better moving forward. And am I part of that? The moving forward? Ava, he cupped my face. You're not part of it. You're the reason for it. Before you, I was just existing. Building wealth, gaining power, but for what? There was no end game, no purpose beyond more. And now I want to build something that matters, with someone who matters. You make me want to be the kind of man who deserves you. You already are, I whispered. Liar, but he smiled. Though I appreciate the sentiment. I'm serious. You're not perfect. Wow, thanks. Let me finish. You're not perfect. You're arrogant and controlling, and you have this annoying habit of thinking you know what's best for everyone. This is quite the compliment. But you're also kind when you think no one's looking. You're protective without being suffocating. You make me laugh even when I'm trying to stay mad at you. I stepped closer, and you see me, really see me. Not just the version I present to the world, but all of it, the messy, clumsy, overthinking parts. His hands slid around my waist. Those are my favorite parts. Even when I trip over nothing? Especially then. Gives me an excuse to catch you. As if on cue, I shifted my weight and my heel caught on the rug. I stumbled, and his arms were immediately there, steadying me. See? He grinned. Perfect timing. I hate you, I muttered against his chest. No, you don't. You're right. Unfortunately, he tilted my chin up. Say it. Say what? That you love me. Or at least that you're falling for me. I need to hear it. My heart raced. We'd been dancing around it for days. The feeling was there. Undeniable and terrifying and wonderful all at once. What if I'm not ready? Then I'll wait. I'm patient when it matters. You're literally the least patient person I know. With you, I'd wait forever. His thumb brushed my lower lip, but I'm hoping I don't have to. I took a breath, feeling the weight and rightness of the words. I'm falling for you. Hard. Probably too fast. Definitely too recklessly, but I can't seem to stop myself. His smile was brilliant, transforming his entire face. Yeah? Yeah. You're infuriating and impossible, and you make me want to throw things at you half the time. Only half? But you also make me feel alive. Like I'm finally taking up space in my own life instead of playing it safe. Christo, I love you! The words tumbled out, surprising both of us. I blinked. What? I love you. He said it again, more certain this time. I'm in love with you, Ava Miller. Have been since you yelled at me in that airport. Maybe even before that, in some cosmic sense. And I don't care if it's too soon or too fast or too anything. It's true. My eyes stung with happy tears. You really are impossible. Is that a yes? To what? To being in love with me, too. The words stuck. Big words. Scary words. Words that changed everything. It's okay, he said gently. You don't have to. I love you, too, I blurted. I do. I'm terrified, and it's completely insane, but I love you. Your stupid smile and your annoying confidence and the way you look at me like I'm the only person who matters. He kissed me then, deep and claiming and full of promise. His hands tangled in my hair. Mine clutched his shirt, and the world narrowed to just us. When we finally broke apart, both breathing hard, he rested his forehead against mine. Come with me, he murmured. Where? My office. I want to show you something. Your office? Here? I work from home sometimes. Come on. He led me down a hallway to a room I hadn't seen yet. His home office was impressive. Floor-to-ceiling windows, sleek desk, shelves lined with books, and what looked like very expensive art. But he wasn't showing me the room. He walked to the window, pulling me against him from behind. Look, he said, pointing out at the city lights. You see that building? Fourth from the left? Yeah, that's where you work. Where I first saw you after the airport. Where you hid behind a plant and army crawled across the floor. His arms tightened around me. I stand here sometimes, at night, and I can see your office window. Floor 4, third from the right. That's borderline stalkerish. Probably, but I can't help it. Even when you're not there, I look, wondering what you're doing. If you're thinking about me, if you're eating lunch in a stairwell to avoid me, I stopped doing that, only because I started joining you. He turned me in his arms. My point is, you've become my entire world, Ava. In the span of a few weeks, you've completely taken over my thoughts, my plans, my future. Everything I do now, I think about how it affects you, how it affects us. That's a lot of pressure. I don't mean it to be. I just mean... He cupped my face. I'm all in, completely, and I need you to know that this isn't a phase or infatuation or whatever. This is it for me. You're it for me. Renzo, I know it's fast. I know we're still figuring things out, but when you know, and I know. I looked up at this complicated, dangerous, surprisingly romantic man and felt everything click into place. I know, too. His kiss was different this time. Slower, deeper, like he had all the time in the world and intended to use every second of it. I love you, he breathed against my lips. I love you, too. Say it again. I love you, you arrogant... He kissed me again, swallowing the rest of my sentence. His hands gripped my waist, lifting me onto the desk, papers scattering. You're going to mess up your work, I managed between kisses. Don't care. This is more important. His lips trailed down my neck, and I forgot how to form coherent thoughts. My hands found their way under his shirt, tracing the muscles I'd only glimpsed before. Ava, he groaned, if we don't stop... Who said anything about stopping? His eyes darkened. Are you sure? I'm sure that I love you. I'm sure that I want this. I'm sure that... I pulled him closer. I'm tired of overthinking everything. Best words I've ever heard. He kissed me with renewed intensity, and I lost myself in it. In him, in us, much later. We were tangled together on the couch in his office, the city lights twinkling outside, when his phone buzzed. Ignore it, I mumbled against his chest, planning on it. His fingers traced lazy patterns on my back. Nothing's more important than this. Then what? This, you, us. This perfect moment where you're half asleep in my arms and I'm the luckiest man alive. You're getting sappy. You bring it out in me. He pressed a kiss to my hair, though I have a question. Move in with me. That woke me up. I propped myself on my elbow. What? Move in. Here, with me. He looked completely serious. I know it's fast. Renzo, we've been together 2 weeks. So, when you know, you said it yourself. That's not, I struggled for words. That's a huge step. It is, but think about it. You're here all the time anyway. Half your stuff is already here, and he took a breath. I don't want to spend another night without you. I want to fall asleep next to you every night and wake up with you every morning. I want this to be our space. You're insane. For you? Absolutely. His hand cupped my face. But I'm serious. I want this. I want us. I want forever. So move in with me. Make me the happiest man alive. I should say no. Should be practical. Should take things slow. But when had I ever been practical with him? Okay? His eyes widened. Okay? Okay, yes, I'll move in with you, you impossible man. His grin was brilliant. Yeah? Yeah, but I have conditions. Of course you do. I keep my own space. A room just for me. Where I can go when you're being particularly impossible. Done. What else? We split chores. I'm not your maid. I have people for that anyway. Renzo! Kidding, mostly. Yes, we split chores. And, I poked his chest, you don't get to boss me around just because we live together. I don't boss you around now. You absolutely do. I make suggestions. There's a difference. Well, in our home, I get equal say. Our home. His smile softened. I like the sound of that. Me too, I admitted. He pulled me down for a kiss. Soft and sweet and full of promise. I love you, firecracker. I love you too, you expensive jerk. He laughed, the sound filling the room with warmth. You're never gonna let that go, are you? Never. It's my favorite memory. Mine too. He tucked me against him, though I'm hoping we're about to make a lot more. Yeah? Yeah. Starting with tomorrow, when we tell everyone you're moving in with me. Sophie's going to lose her mind. Marco's going to think I've lost mine. Have you? Absolutely. He kissed my forehead. Best decision I've ever made. We lay there, watching the city lights, wrapped in each other and the promise of everything to come. Hey, Renzo? Thank you. For what? For not giving up. For pursuing me even when I was running. For seeing me when I was trying to hide. His arms tightened around me. I'd chase you to the ends of the earth if I had to. Lucky for me, I only had to chase you 4 floors. And through several stairwells. And one very angry airport encounter. Best wrong turn I ever made, I whispered. Best explosion I ever witnessed, he agreed. Here's to many more perfectly chaotic moments. To chaos. To us. And as I drifted off to sleep in his arms, in what would soon be our home, I couldn't help but smile. Sometimes the best love stories start with yelling at a stranger in an airport. Sometimes the most dangerous choice is also the right one. Sometimes you have to stop playing it safe and take a leap into the beautiful, terrifying, absolutely perfect chaos. And sometimes, if you're really lucky, that chaos leads you exactly where you're meant to be.
3 hidden Lena facts about this story. The nickname Firecracker has a double meaning. Renzo calls her that because she blew up at the airport, but also because fireworks are small, unpredictable, and impossible to ignore. Exactly how Ava changed his life. Ivan never uses his full name until Chapter 4. Pay attention. She avoids saying Renzo in the first chapters as an emotional defense. When she finally says his name at the restaurant, that's the moment she admits to herself that she's really falling. Also, Ava's clumsiness only happens around him. Subtle Easter egg. She never trips when she's alone or with anyone else, only in Renzo's presence, because he literally throws her off balance. The phrase expensive jerk comes back in every chapter. It's like their mantra, evolving from a genuine insult into a term of endearment. In the final chapter, when she says it with love, the cycle closes perfectly. Writing this story burned inside me in a completely unexpected way. I didn't know I needed it until I started writing. From the moment Ava exploded at that airport, I knew there was something special here. The humor came so naturally because, let's be honest, who hasn't tripped and died of embarrassment, spilled coffee, or talked way too much when nervous? Ava is all of us in our worst and best moments. The romance grew intense because I love that unresolved sexual tension that keeps building, until it explodes at the perfect moment. Every almost kiss that got interrupted was intentional. I'm a sucker for slow burn. And Renzo? Oh, creating this man was delicious. He's dangerous but vulnerable, dirty-minded but romantic, controlling but respectful. That perfect balance between red flag and dream man. Every chapter was intense. You should have seen me pacing and literally jumping while writing each part, LOL. Watching Ava go from, I hate this man, to I'm completely in love with this man, was a journey I felt in every word. And Renzo chasing her with that irritating confidence. Chef's kiss. The secret is balance. Make you laugh, make you sigh, make you feel that flutter in your stomach, and that warmth in other places. I know, and you know. This story is pure romantic comedy, chaotic, passionate, funny, and just naughty enough. I hope you devoured this story, and if you enjoyed it, please comment below so I know I can bring more like this. Your feedback means everything to me and makes me so happy. Mission accomplished, darling. I'll see you in the next story. By Alina, still thinking about Renzo's crooked smile.